Hello, everyone. My name is Corinne Koger of the Koger Law Firm, and we are here today to discuss the new NCAA NIL rules that were just dropped yesterday. So, before we get started, I just wanted to let you know that I am streaming live on multiple platforms. So, if you see me looking up, I'm probably looking at Instagram. If you see me looking down, I'm talking to you on Facebook, YouTube, as well as LinkedIn. So don't think I'm not trying to make eye contact with you. So first of all, let's see. Okay, we're going. I can see people that are entering into the stream. If there is a button for live stream or excuse me, stream yard telling you that you need to click here in order for your comments to come up, please do so. I want you to feel free to drop comments and questions into the chat or the comment section below. But I just want to let you know that I'm not going to look into them until we're done or I'm done presenting, because if I go back and forth, I'll get thrown off task and I might forget something. So, okay. Also, a few other legal notes. Everything that I'm saying here today is for educational purposes only. Nothing shall be construed as legal advice. Um, I am an attorney, but I'm not your attorney, and we do not have an attorney client relationship. So, like I said yesterday, on October 26, 2022, the NCAA dropped some new rules regarding NIL. So, for those who are not familiar with NIL, as of July 1 of 2021, the NCAA allowed for student athletes to now monetize their name, image, and likeness. So, when you think of your name or somebody making money off of their name, think about somebody, using their name to sell goods. Think about your last name on the back of your jersey. For your image, that is, a picture of you or a video of you. And then likeness, think about if a student athlete is depicted in a video game, which is actually how all of this kind of got started years ago. So this is something that professional athletes have been able to do since the beginning of time, but now student athletes are able to do so as well. Student athletes, when they enter into NIL contracts, they are supposed to be in exchange for something. So the student is working with a company or a brand to sell a product, to sell clothing, to make an appearance on behalf of the brand, to sign autographs. There are a number of different ways in which student athletes can make money. So they do come in individual deals. Sometimes it's selling on social media. They can come in brand ambassadorships, in which the student has a more long-term contract and relationship with a brand. So they might be a brand ambassador for a year. Um, they can have an equity partnership in a company that they decide to promote and become a partner on the back end. NIL for student athletes is not pay for play. In such, a student cannot be given money solely for the purposes of attending a school or playing in a game. Again, NIL, it's an exchange for what the student athlete is going to provide that brand or company. So like I said, July 1, NIL appeared. On May 9th of 2022, the NCAA issued their second policy, and that involved boosters or collectives. But yesterday, the third policy that has been issued, focuses on how schools can be involved in NIL activities for the students that are enrolled. There are approximately 20 plus new policies. So if you want to take notes, feel free to do so. If you want to follow along with the policies, you can simply Google NCAA NIL rules October 2022. That way you'll be able to see the press release and click on it, and you'll be able to get the all of the rules in PDF form. So section 1 involves education and educational monitoring for current students. So according to the new rules, schools can and should provide education for their students. The topics under the education should include financial literacy, taxes, social media practices, as well as entrepreneurship. The schools can also provide NIL education to collectives, boosters, and prospects. So the school itself can teach collective boosters and students that are looking to attend that school about NIL. And lastly, under this section, if the state law provides, the student can and should report their NIL activities to the athletic department. So again, all states do not provide for this. This is one of the reasons why you are going to want to make sure when you enter or you're thinking about entering into a NIL contract, you know both the state laws as well as your school rules. So I would say section 2 comes under school support for student athlete NIL activities. So this is where things get a little sticky. There's a bunch of cans and there are a bunch of cannots. So we are going to run through the cans first. So the schools can inform student athletes about NIL opportunities, and the school can administer marketplaces that match students with opportunities. So again, the school can tell the student about these opportunities. And when I say marketplaces, there are some sites out there, there's new ones popping up all the time that address excuse me, I just saw a note that I do need to look at. Thanks, Steve. So the schools can partner with one of the websites. Some include um, Influencer, Open Doors, No Cap are all marketplaces that I know have partnered with schools. And they are basically what I call dating sites for student athletes. The student athlete can upload his or her profile to the site and all of their pertinent information, as well as all of their social media. And they can search for the gigs that the brands or the companies have posted on the site. Conversely, the brands and the companies can go into the site and look for a student that they want to represent them. And usually there is a button, where you can hit apply, or the brand can send an email to the student, and that is a way in which they can match for NIL opportunities. One thing about this is that a student athlete does not have to wait for anybody to do this for him or her. They can upload themselves and get started with NIL. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, next, excuse me, the school can now provide stock photos or graphics to either the student athlete or to the NIL entity. So, what does this mean? The school can provide photos that they use on campus, that they use on their brochures, in their billboards. That is the property of the school. And per this policy, they can now let the student athlete as well as the entity use these photos. So when you think about, most student athletes have their photo, their official student athlete photo on the website. Now they can use that in their NIL activities. The school can also provide a place on campus where the student athlete and the entities can meet. Okay. Uh, Okay. Also, again, like I said, this is where it kind of gets sticky. The school can promote the student athletes' NIL activities, provided that either the student athlete or the NIL entity pays the going rate for advertisement. So, example of this would be a student athlete in a brand having a billboard or a digital billboard during a game. They can do so, but they have to pay the standard rate that an advertiser would pay. The schools can now also provide tickets or suites during the games for NIL entities through different sponsorship agreements. And again, provided that these terms and agreements are the same for all of the sponsors. And let's see. And so when, I'm going to get into the cannots in a minute. But I just wanted to let you know that on the business of college sports, Christy Dosh, who is a sports journalist, she did inquire about some of the new rules. And I want to let you know what she found out. She said that she spoke with Linda Teller, who is the chair of the NIL working group. Um, and executive associate athletics director down in Florida. Christy asked her about schools that were offering free legal clinics or free accounting services to the students. They are going to be able to still provide that, but only if it's available to everybody, not just the student athletes. Okay, so here are the cannots. Here are the things that that the school cannot do with NIL. So the school cannot engage in negotiations on behalf of either the student or the entity for NIL deals. So the school can let the student athlete know about the deal, but they cannot negotiate their contracts. So I would advise all student athletes when they are presented with contracts to get legal counsel and have somebody look over them for you in order to give you the best counsel available and they not have the school's interests at heart. The school cannot provide free services such as graphic designers, preparation, contract review, which I just discussed, to the student athlete unless those same services are provided to the whole student body. The school cannot provide equipment, so cameras, graphic software, computers to the student athlete to support the student athlete's activities unless the equipment is also available to the general body. So let me give you some examples of that. So if the student athlete is using equipment in the school library that is open for everybody to use, to check out, they can use that for NIL. But if a student athlete is getting a camera from the media department solely for the purposes of NIL, and that camera is not available to the full student body, they cannot proceed with that. Okay. The schools cannot allow student athletes to promote their NIL activity while they're participating in their required activities with the athletic department. So this includes the student athletes' responsibilities pre and post game during celebrations and news conferences. That is the time that the school student athlete must participate in the school's activities and not promote their own NIL. Okay, section 4. The school's involvement with collectives and other NIL entities. Okay, this is a difference and this is a change. School personnel, including coaches, can assist an NIL entity with fundraising through appearances or by providing autographed memorabilia. So, under the old NIL policies, a lot of coaches were just hands off. They're like, I can't touch this, don't want to get in trouble. But now they can, but it's for it's for fundraising. All right. The schools can provide, the schools can request that the donors provide funds to the collectives. Uh, provided that the school do not request that the funds be directed to a specific sport or student athlete. So the school can ask their donors to provide money or ask the collectives to provide money, but it cannot be directed towards just the football team or just the basketball player. Okay, school personnel cannot donate cash directly or indirectly to either entity. And the school staff members cannot be employed or take ownership in any NIL entity. Okay. Moving on to section 5, enforcement of NCAA rules related to the NIL policy. Okay, so for any violations that occurred before this policy, so the policy that came out on October 26, 2022, um, The staff should review the facts of the individual cases, but only pursue the cases in which there is a clear violation of the policy, as opposed to an inadvertent violation of the policy. Okay. There's a proposal for new allegations in standards for when potential violations, excuse me, there's a proposal for new allegations and conclusion standards when potential violations are related to the interim policy. When information that is available to enforcement staff indicates impermissible conduct that's just straight against the rules, there is going to be a presumption that that conduct occurred, and it will be the responsibility of the school to show that that conduct did not occur. Okay. Schools cannot enter into a contract for student athletes for the sales related to the student athletes NIL. So, for example, if a student athlete creates their own clothing line, the school cannot sell that clothing line in their bookstore for other people to purchase it. Right. There shall not be any revenue sharing between the conferences and the student athletes. The student athletes cannot get proceeds from broadcasting revenue, and the conference cannot get money from the student athletes NIL contract. A coach cannot pay a student athlete to promote his or her own camp. And the student athlete cannot be paid directly or indirectly to promote the competition or games that the student athlete participates in. So that is all of the rules that have been released yesterday. I'm going to take a look at the comments and I will be back. I'm not going anywhere, but let me take a look at the comments. And if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments now. Okay. Okay, seeing no comments, I hope that this broadcast was able to provide you guys with some information and some clarification about the new rules. Um, this is new for everybody. So if you have any questions, please feel free to contact my office at www.kogerlawfirm.com. And also, I'm going to drop this in the chat. I do want to let you know that I'm hosting a NIL workshop on November the 8th. And the topic of the workshop is to how to prepare your social media so you can be found for NIL deals. One of the biggest complaints that brands and companies have is that they cannot find the student athlete, on social media. So let's say your name is John Clark, but your social media handle is Big Baller 27. They're having a hard time finding you. So during the workshop, it's going to be a working workshop. We're going to go through your social media and how you present yourself to the world to make sure that the brands and the companies that want to work with you can find you. Let me drop that in. And on Instagram, I'm going to drop it in the comments after I get off of the live. So thank you again. My name is Corinne Koger from the Koger Law Firm. I can be reached at www.kogerlawfirm.com. And I will talk to you soon.